You probably heard it before. Drink more water. Doctors say it. Magazines print it. Health blogs repeat it like gospel. And maybe you've tried. Maybe you've placed that tall glass of water on your nightstand, trained yourself to drink it first thing in the morning. And maybe you've even felt a little proud, thinking, I'm doing something good for myself. But what if I told you that for many older adults, that well-meaning habit might not just be unhelpful, it might be quietly harmful? Sound impossible, right? Water is life. But here's the truth. After the age of 60, the body's relationship with water begins to change. What used to hydrate and energize can now lead to imbalance, discomfort, even danger if we're not careful. It's not about avoiding water. It's about how and when you drink it. Because timing, quantity, and your body's current condition matter more than most people realize. Martha, 74, thought she was doing everything right. She woke up, stretched, and downed a full 16 ounces of water before she even brushed her teeth. Flush the system, she said. Start clean. But within 30 minutes, she felt lightheaded. Her heart fluttered, and by noon, she could barely make it through her walk without feeling exhausted. It wasn't a lack of nutrients. It wasn't dehydration. It was too much water too fast, hitting a body that couldn't process it the way it used to. And here's the scary part. Most seniors don't connect the dots. They blame the dizziness on age, the fatigue on poor sleep, the discomfort on the weather. But often, the culprit is hidden in plain sight. That big glass of water you were told would help you, quietly working against your aging system. In today's video, we're going to explore the 5 real reasons why drinking too much water in the morning can be risky after 60, and what to do instead. These aren't myths or scare tactics. They're backed by real physiological changes that occur as we age. Changes in kidney function, changes in blood pressure regulation, changes in electrolyte balance and cardiac load. And once you understand these 5 reasons, you'll not only avoid the hidden risks, you'll learn how to hydrate in a way that actually supports your body, your energy, and your clarity throughout the day. So if you've ever felt off in the morning and didn't know why, if you've been forcing yourself to drink more than feels natural just because someone said it's healthy, or if you're just trying to take better care of your body and want real answers, stay with us. Because water is life, yes. But like anything powerful, it must be used wisely, especially in a body that's learning to age with grace. Let's begin with the most overlooked system in your body, your kidneys. 2 small organs with one very big job: filtering waste, regulating fluid, and keeping your internal environment in balance. And for most of your life, they did it quietly, without thanks, without fail. But after 60, things begin to shift. Kidney function naturally declines with age. Not dramatically at first, but steadily. By the time many people reach their 70s, their kidneys may only be operating at 70 to 80% of their youthful capacity, even without any diagnosed disease. And that changes everything. When you drink a large amount of water first thing in the morning, your kidneys receive a sudden demand. Filter, process, excrete. But older kidneys are slower to respond. They can't adapt as quickly to changes in volume. Instead of distributing that water evenly, your body struggles to handle the rush. The result? Fluid retention in some areas, excessive urination in others. A spike in urgency that overwhelms the system and leads to what many seniors describe as morning fog, pressure in the bladder, or even mild nausea. George, 78, started his mornings with 2 glasses of water because he read online that it was detoxifying. But more often than not, it left him feeling bloated and anxious. He didn't understand why, until his doctor explained that his kidneys couldn't process that volume in such a short window. The water was pooling in his circulation before the kidneys could catch up, leading to fluctuating blood pressure and fatigue. The problem isn't water, it's pace and timing. When your kidneys are slower, a sudden influx feels like a flood. It forces your body to either dump electrolytes too quickly or hold on to water in places it doesn't belong. In younger bodies, this self-regulation happens in the background. But in older bodies, the same process is louder, clumsier, and harder to recover from. And if you're on any medication, especially blood pressure pills, diuretics, or diabetes drugs. This morning water surge can amplify side effects. It dilutes electrolytes. It can accelerate water-soluble drug absorption. It throws off the delicate chemical choreography your body tries to maintain before breakfast. That's why many experts now recommend starting the day with small, spaced sips instead of one large glass. Let the kidneys wake up slowly. Give your system time to catch up. Think of hydration not as a one-time task, but as a rhythm, a flow, especially in a body that now deserves gentleness more than force. So if you've ever wondered why you feel unsettled in the morning despite doing all the right things, take a look at what's happening under the surface. Your kidneys aren't what they used to be, and that's not failure. That's age. That's wisdom. And wisdom knows more isn't always better. Sometimes it's just more. The second reason might not be what most people expect, because when we think about hydration, we think about health, circulation, energy. But what many people forget is that your blood is mostly water. And when you suddenly increase your water intake, especially in the morning when your body is still transitioning from its resting state, you're also changing the volume and pressure inside your blood vessels. For younger, more resilient systems, this adjustment is quick and easy. But after 60, it's not just water you're adding. You're changing the pressure dynamics of your entire cardiovascular system. Here's what happens. When you drink a large amount of water right after waking, your blood volume expands rapidly. That sudden expansion signals your heart and blood vessels to adjust fast. In younger bodies, the vessels dilate smoothly, the kidneys filter, and the pressure stabilizes. But in aging arteries, many of which are already stiffened or narrowed by years of wear, the adjustment isn't so graceful. The blood pressure can spike. The heart works harder. And if you're already on blood pressure medication, this sudden shift can create a mismatch between what the medication is doing and what your body now needs. For someone like Evelyn, 82, who's on a daily ACE inhibitor, this meant feeling dizzy within 20 minutes of drinking a full glass of water. Her pulse would race, then drop. She thought it was a side effect of the medication, until her cardiologist asked when she was taking her first drink. That's when they realized it wasn't the drug alone. It was the timing of her water, too much, too fast at the very start of the day. The body's regulatory systems, including the baroreceptors that monitor pressure and volume, become less sensitive with age. That means your body takes longer to detect a sudden change, and even longer to correct it. Drinking 10 to 12 ounces of water immediately after waking can trigger a roller coaster of blood pressure shifts, especially if your body is already managing hypertension, vascular rigidity, or fluid balance issues. And then there's the cardiac load. If your heart is already dealing with valve changes, reduced ejection fraction, or atrial fibrillation, common in people over 70, the sudden fluid shift in the morning isn't just inconvenient. It's a direct challenge to your most vital muscle. It's asking the heart to handle more volume, faster, when it's least ready to do so. That's why some geriatric specialists now suggest waiting at least 30 to 45 minutes after waking before consuming a significant amount of liquid. Let your heart catch up. Let your pressure stabilize naturally. And if you do drink early, make it slow, measured, and gentle. Because hydration should support your heart, not surprise it. The third reason has to do with something invisible but essential: electrolytes. These tiny charged minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, are the conductors of your body's orchestra. They help your muscles contract, your nerves send signals, your brain stay clear. And they also help your cells absorb and regulate water, which means when you drink water, you're not just hydrating, you're changing the concentration of everything around it. And that becomes a problem when the water goes in, but the minerals don't. In younger bodies, the electrolyte balance is more forgiving. The kidneys respond quickly. The food we eat helps buffer sudden changes. But in older adults, especially those who start the day with water and no food, this balance is delicate. Drinking too much plain water on an empty stomach can dilute your blood sodium levels, a condition known as hyponatremia. Mild cases might cause fatigue or confusion, but more severe drops can lead to dizziness, instability, headaches, even fainting, and in extreme cases, seizures. David, 73, didn't know any of this. He started drinking a full 20 ounces of water first thing every morning after reading about hydration and aging. Within a few weeks, he noticed muscle twitching in his legs and occasional lightheadedness. He thought he was dehydrated, so he drank even more. But when his doctor ran blood work, his sodium levels were borderline low. The water wasn't helping, it was diluting. The problem was simple. Water without minerals is incomplete. Especially in the morning, when your body is coming out of a long fast, your electrolyte levels are already lower than they are later in the day. That's why in clinical settings, even for hydration includes electrolytes, because pure water alone doesn't replenish. It dilutes. And for those on certain medications, like diuretics, blood pressure pills, or antidepressants, the risk is even higher. These drugs can already reduce sodium or potassium levels. Add in a flood of water on an empty stomach, and you're increasing your risk of imbalance with every sip. The signs aren't always obvious. Maybe you're more tired than usual. Maybe your hands tremble slightly. Maybe you feel anxious or your thoughts feel foggy. These aren't just getting older. Sometimes they're chemical, and they're reversible if you hydrate smart. Experts now suggest pairing morning hydration with something salty or mineral-rich, even a small bite of food. Bone broth, a slice of toast with nut butter, a few salted almonds. Something to tell your body, we're balancing this out. Because water is not just a liquid, it's part of the chemical system. And when the chemistry is off, even the purest water can create problems instead of solving them. The fourth reason is one that often hides in plain sight and shows up hours after that morning glass is gone. It has to do with how your body wakes up, how it prepares for the day, and what it still needs to finish from the night before. Sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. And when you wake up, especially after the age of 60, your body is still finishing its overnight work. It's adjusting hormone levels, restoring fluid balance, recalibrating blood sugar, preparing the digestion system to start again. This is a delicate moment, and the choices you make in that window have a ripple effect, especially water. When you pour a large volume of water into your system immediately upon waking, you're not just hydrating, you're sending a signal to flush, to mobilize, to empty, which sounds good in theory. But in reality, it forces your kidneys, bladder, heart, and even adrenal system into immediate action before they're ready. And for older adults, that often means one thing: fatigue. Not the kind you can nap away, the kind that stays with you through the afternoon, the kind that makes you sit down more often than you used to, the kind you start mistaking for aging. Sharon, 76, was tired all the time. She slept 8 hours most nights, took her vitamins, ate lightly in the evenings. But every day by 10 a.m., she felt drained. She blamed it on sleep quality until her doctor asked about her hydration. She was starting every day with a full bottle of water within the first 15 minutes of waking. That water was triggering her bladder, interrupting her body's cortisol awakening response, and creating a pattern where her energy never quite caught up to the day. There's also the sleep connection. Many older adults wake up early, not by choice, but because of bladder urgency. The kidneys slow at night, but when morning comes and water hits the system, they go into overdrive. For some, this results in multiple bathroom trips before breakfast. For others, it leads to a wave of tension as the body shifts too fast from rest to output. Either way, what's supposed to be a gentle transition becomes a physiological jolt. And here's the part no one talks about. If you force your body into a cleanse before it's ready, you often bypass the natural, slower rhythms that actually support better energy, mood, and digestion throughout the day. Morning water overload doesn't just wake the system, it disrupts it. Instead of supporting your body, you're overwhelming it. That's why many functional medicine doctors now recommend postponing large hydration until your body has had time to stretch, breathe, walk, maybe eat a little. Give your system a chance to finish the night's work before starting the day's work. Start the fire before pouring in fuel, because your body doesn't need to be shocked awake. It needs to be invited. The fifth reason might be the most personal, because it affects something most people over 60 live with every day: medication. Whether you're managing blood pressure, blood sugar, heart rhythm, thyroid, mood, or pain, chances are you take at least one pill in the morning. And how your body processes that medication depends on many things: your digestion, your liver, your timing, and yes, your hydration. Water is often recommended when taking pills, and that's good advice. But too much water? That's a different story. When you flood your system with water right before or after taking medication, you alter the rate and concentration of how that substance moves through your stomach, intestines, and bloodstream. For some drugs, this means faster absorption, which can lead to a more intense onset and stronger side effects. For others, especially time-release formulas, the excess fluid can break down protective coatings, causing the medication to behave unpredictably. Ed, 79, was on a beta blocker and a statin. He took them religiously every morning with a tall glass of cold water. But he noticed something odd. Some mornings, he felt dizzy within 30 minutes. Other days, no problem. What changed? The amount of water. On days he drank more than 12 ounces, his blood pressure would drop faster, and he'd feel lightheaded. It wasn't the medicine. It was how the medicine was delivered. The same is true for diabetes medications, especially those that regulate insulin sensitivity or affect kidney function. If the body receives too much water without food, glucose levels can shift unexpectedly. And for people on blood thinners, dilution of plasma concentration can slightly alter how the drug behaves. Small changes, but significant in a body already walking a careful chemical line. There's also the issue of gastric emptying. Too much water can push medicine into the intestines too quickly, reducing absorption time. Or in the case of fat-soluble vitamins or supplements, it may pass them through before the body has a chance to use them effectively. What was meant to help, now partially wasted or worse, imbalanced. That's why many geriatric pharmacists recommend a new approach. Pair your medication with modest hydration, just enough to swallow safely, 4 to 6 ounces, followed by light food if needed. Then wait. Let your body process the medication with respect, not rush. Save larger hydration for later in the morning, once the most sensitive window has passed. Because in this season of life, every variable matters. Your body has earned your attention. Not just what you put in it, but how and when. So now we return to the question that started it all. Can too much water in the morning actually harm you? Not in theory, not as a warning label, but quietly, slowly, over time, in ways that are easy to miss until the effects are already part of your daily life. And after walking through these 5 reasons, the answer becomes clear. Yes, it can. Not because water is bad, but because a changing body needs a different rhythm. We've seen how aging kidneys process water more slowly, turning what was once refreshing into something overwhelming. We've explored how sudden hydration can shift blood pressure, challenge the heart, and throw off a fragile cardiovascular balance. We've looked at how clean, pure water, when taken too fast and too early, can actually dilute the minerals your brain and muscles depend on. We've seen how morning overload disrupts rest, adds pressure to a bladder still waking up, and steals the quiet energy your body was trying to build. And finally, we've seen how it interacts with medication, not as a neutral carrier, but as an agent that changes absorption, strength, and timing. None of this means you shouldn't drink water. It means you should drink water differently, with awareness, with respect, with pacing that matches your body, not your younger self's habits or something you read online meant for 30-year-olds running marathons. So what does that look like in practice? Start slow. When you wake, sit up, breathe. Let your system reorient before pouring anything in. If you're thirsty, take a few small sips. Room temperature is best. Wait at least 20 to 30 minutes before drinking more. Pair your water with something: electrolytes, light food, a bit of salt. Don't drink around the same time as your medication unless specifically advised. And most of all, listen. If you feel dizzy, bloated, urgent, heavy, or scattered after that first drink, pay attention. Your body is telling you something, and it's been trying to for a while. Hydration is still essential, but so is nuance, so is timing. So, is kindness to a system that has carried you this far and that now asks for just a bit more understanding in return? And if this video helped you make that shift, even just a little, don't keep it to yourself. Like the video, share it with someone who might be tired of feeling tired. Subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thoughtful, honest, and made for where you are now, not where you were decades ago. Thank you for being with us. Share your experiences and questions in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and explore more of our practical, caring guides to life after 60. We're here with you, one gentle insight at a time.